Hey dolls, welcome back to my channel. So today I will be transforming this wig. This is the same wig I had in my previous video from HerGivenHair. This is in the style COLFW01. This is their curly textured lace front wig, and I'm going to leave a direct link to my initial review and thoughts on this wig and how I installed the wig. I'm going to leave that link in the description box of this video. Now let's just jump into styling this wig. The first thing I'm going to do is I will be sectioning the hair into 4 different parts. I'll be sectioning the front into 3 and the back into 1. Because I know this is a very kinky textured hair, it is extremely kinky, I figured parting it out into different sections will make it easier for me to work with as I style this hair. So as you can see, I part the front section of the wig into 3, and then I went ahead and also part the back piece into 2, just so that it will be easier for me. Now I'm going to clip away some of the back, and I'm going to start working in smaller sections. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll take a powder brush and I'll make sure I comb out the curls. Again, because this is very kinky, it's very important for me to comb it out first, just so it can be easier for me to flat iron and also do whatever it is I want to do. After combing it out, I'm going to go ahead and take my flat iron and I'm going to run the flat iron through the hair just one time. I'm going to go a bit slow with it, just so, again, it's very curly, so I have to take my time and flat ironing it out. What I realized at the end of this, at the end of styling this wig, was that I actually did not really need to flat iron it this much, just to get the curls out a little bit. So when you're doing yours, just take out the curls, a little bit, and then you'll be fine. You do not have to get it as silky as I have it in this video. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wand. I don't know the exact inch of this wand iron, but that's what I'm going to be using at first. After I curled this first piece and I took it out of the wand, I realized that the curls were too loose. It was not exactly how I wanted it. What I also forgot to do with the first piece was to spray some of this It's Protectant Spray. This is some Fructis Styles, I think that's what it's called. And all I do is just, I will spray a little bit of it onto the hair itself before combing it out. And then once I feel like it's softened, I will then proceed to brushing it out. This way it is actually much more easier for me to brush out. And then after that, I'll go in with my flat iron a little bit. And then I'm going to switch the wand, like I said earlier on. I'm going to switch the wand to something that is going to give me a much more tighter curls. This is a very full wig, so I won't bore you guys by showing every single thing because it's very repetitive. But right here, I'm just showing you the 2 different curl pattern that I got with the 2 different wand. So as you guys can see, the second curls is very much tighter than the first one. So I prefer the second one, so that's the wand I'm going to be using. I'm going to show you guys that in a little bit. Like I said, I'm just going to spray the hair first. That's the first thing I do. I pat it. Spray it with the It's Protectant, then I rub it through. Once I know it's soft, I brush it out with my brush. That's what I'm going to be doing right now. I brush it out, and then after that, I'm going to go ahead, flat iron it. After flat iron it, then I'm just going to curl it with the curly wand. So I'm just going to let you guys watch a little bit of it, and then I'll fast forward it. and this is the final product. This is what it looks like after curling the entire wig. This took me forever and a day. I was so tired at the end of it. I was like, oh my god, what have I gotten myself into? But I love how it turned out. All right, onto the makeup. For the first time, I'll be using, there's a package that was sent to me from Covergirl, and I am probably the last person to try their new brow gel, the brow powders, their concealers, foundation. I've tried the foundation before, but the rest of the stuff I haven't tried. So that's what I'm going to be using today. First, I'll be going into the Paula's Choice Hydrating Fluid. I'm going to use that to kind of just moisturize my face. This is the only moisturizer I use. It works for me. I just love the amount of moisture it brings to my face, and it has SPF 50. And then after that, I'll be going into the Covergirl Primer. This is the matte one. The package that was sent to me comes with a matte and an hydrating one. So I decided to use the matte one because I have oily skin, right? All I have to say is that drugstore foundations, drugstore primer, drugstore setting powder, drugstore concealer, all this drugstore stuff, they are coming for the next of the eye ends because this performed really, really well. Anyways, now I'm moving on to foundation, and I'm using the CoverGirl True Blend foundation, and this is in the shade D60. As you guys can see, it's slightly darker, but I like my foundations that way. Now I'm moving on to concealer. This is the Undercover Concealer, and this is the shade D150. It's not as bright as I like my under eye concealer to be, but it is definitely beautiful. It is definitely full coverage, and it is it's workable. I was able to use it that way, and I love the end result. I am glad that it was this shade, because you guys are about to see what's going to happen afterwards. Now I'm taking the darker shade of the concealer, and this is the shade D900. This is Espresso, and I'm using this to contour. As you guys can tell, when I showed you guys the shade on camera, it didn't look too bad. However, this bad boy, it is dark. I don't know if I let it sit for too long, but it is super duper dark. Now I'm moving on to setting my face. I'll be using the new CoverGirl True Blend setting powder. This is the shade 600 Banana. This setting powder is extremely drying. If you have dry skin, please stay away from it unless you want to use very little of it, but it is extremely drying. Moving on to my eyes, I'll be taking the Black Radiance contour palette. This is the shade medium to dark, and I'm taking the sculpting shade, the shade in the middle, and I'm using this to act as my transition shade, and also I use that same shade to contour the sides of my nose. And I'm just placing this all over my eyelid, and then I'm going to move on to the darker palette, which is the Dark Deep, and I'm also going to be taking the shade in the middle, the sculpting one, and I will also use this to darken my crease. I'm going to make sure I'm blending the two shades together. Then I went back into that setting powder, and I use it as my lid color. It doesn't really do much. I just thought to put it back on there just so it can be reinforced. Then I'm going to my setting spray. This is MAC Fix Plus. Now I'm taking the Lashes by Lena liquid lipstick, and this is the shade Frederick. I'm just going to use this all over my lips. No liner, because this is a dark, vampy lip. And then for glow, I'll be taking the CoverGirl True Blend Super Stunner, and this is the shade Glided Glory. And here it is, guys. This is the end of the tutorial. This is the end result. I love the hair. I love HerGivenHair. Like, you just take a look at it. Like, I don't have to talk too much. Look at how natural this looks. Like, I am 1000% impressed. I love how soft and bouncy this hair still looks, even after taking it through that flat iron, curling, and all that good stuff. But you know, I give it up to HerGivenHair. They nailed everything about this wig. I love how, you know, the hair held up the curves for so well. But thank you so much for watching as always, dolls. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.